everyone. Myself Sneha Shah from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Today I am going to explain you impulse response, characterization and convolution for DTLDA from the subject of signals and system from the second unit, which one is behavior of continuous time and discrete time LTI system. Right. In the last session, I had explained you the same thing for the continuous time signal. Now, in this session, I will explain you for the discrete time system. So, starting with the first topic, which one is representation of discrete time signals in terms of impulses. Any continuous time signal or discrete time signal will be representing in terms of number of impulses. So it's basically considered as it's a group of number of impulses. A discrete time signal can be decomposed into a sequence of individual impulses, right? So if we run any signal like this x of n, which is discrete time signal, then in this you can see that on the -2 n equals to -2, this will be considered as x of minus. Similarly, on n equals to -1, its amplitude will be representing as x of -1. Similarly, if we are taking for the right side part, like on n equals to 1, its amplitude will be representing as x of 1. N equals to 2, its value will be x of 2. So, all these things will be combined to make one signal which is considered as x of n. So if you want to write down x of n is a combination of all these things, right? If you want to take value only on the n equals to -2, so it will be representing as x of -2 into del of n plus 2. Because if you are taking del of n means unit impulse signal, its value will be 1 for n equals to 0 only, right? So if we are taking the value on the n equals to -2, so we have to shift the del function on the -2. So we have to shift the signal on the left side part, so we have to take n plus that number. So if you want to shift by factor of 2, so we have to shift this signal as del of n plus 2, right? So if you want to represent x of -2, or if you want to take value only on the x of -2, then its value will be representing as x of -2 del of n plus 2. Similarly, if we are taking for n equals to -1, then the term will be x of -1 del of n plus 1. Same way, we are taking all the other values, and if we are taking the summation of all these things, so it will gives you the combination of all part we consider as x of n, right? So x of n equals to this all terms. Now in general, if we want to write down all these values, then this will be considered as x of k into del of n minus k. If we are taking dummy variable instead of this any term like -2, -1, -3 likewise. So all this term will in general consider as k. Then this term will be considered as, suppose if I am taking k equals to 1, so this term will consider as n minus k, means n minus 1, right? So instead of this, we will generalize that term like this x of k into del of n minus k. And if we are taking summation of all this term, means we will taking summation of k for the entire range, means for -infinite to infinite. So the term will be x of n equals to summation k equals to -infinite to infinite x of k into del of n minus k. So this way we can decompose any discrete time signal into number of individual impulses. Now the next topic is convolution sum representation of any LTI system. Now when we are taking convolution sum, when we are taking the discrete time signal, then we have to take convolution sum. And if we are taking the continuous time system, then we have to take convolution integral. Because for the continuous time signal, we can't take the summation of all the terms, right? So for that, we have to integrate that part. So we are taking the whole area of it. Now, if we are taking the response of the input signal x of n in the form of convolution summation, then the output y of n will be representing as the convolution of x of n with h of n. And the term will be x of k into h of n minus k. And this term will be taken for the entire in summation, that one is k equals to -infinite to infinite. As you know, in the last session I had explained you the continuous time convolution, right? Continuous time signal convolution. So for this continuous time signal convolution, we have taken two signals. The first signal is as it is, the second signal is folded, then shifted. We have taken the overlapping part by taking multiplication and integration, right? So instead of integration, just we have to take this summation for the entire range, means for minus infinite to infinite. So here also we will taking the first signal as it is the second signal, which is h, which is folded, means instead of k we have to take minus k, then we have to do the shifting, means n minus k, and then we have to take multiplication of this two signal, means x of k into h of n minus k, to find out its overlapping area. And up to which overlapping area will be there, then we have to take summation of this term. So it will give you the convolution output. So basically, if you are doing the convolution, in this there will be four different operations. The first one is folding, the second one is the shifting, then we will checking the overlapping by multiplying the signal, and then after that, if we will taking the discrete time signal, then for that we have to take the summation. So basically, there will be four different operations in the convolution process. The first one is folding, shifting, then multiplication, and after that we have to do the summation. So if you want to find out discrete time LTI system convolution, then for that y of n equals to x of n convolved with h of n, and its equation equals to y of n is equals to summation k equals to minus infinite to infinite x of k into h of n minus k. Right. So if you want to solve this example, then for that there are four different methods. The first one is graphical representation, the second one is mathematical expression, the third one is tabulation, and the fourth one is multiplication. So we will solving the example based on DT-LTI convolution. In this session, I will explain by two methods, and in the next session, I will explain the another two methods. The first example is calculate the convolution of x of n equals to 0.5 and 2 and value of h of n equals to 1, 1, 1 using graphical method. Now in this, arrow is not given to you, so we are taking the first term as n equals to 0. So starting with n equals to 0, on n equals to 0, the value of x will be 0.5, and for n equals to 1, its value will be 2. Similarly, if we are taking h of n, in this for n equals to 0, 1 and 2, its value will be 1. So if you want to solve this example, first of all I have drawn the graph of this x of n. Instead of n, we have to find x of k, right? So I have drawn the graph in terms of x of k directly. So x of k will be function of k. So on the x-axis I have drawn the k, on the y-axis we have taken x of k. Now this 0.5 will be on the n k equals to 0, and this 2 will be on k equals to 1. So this one is x of k. Now the next one we have to draw the value of h of n. Instead of h of n, we are taking h of k. So in this h of k, the on k equals to 0, 1 and 2, the value of h of k will be 1. So we have drawn the graph of h of k like this. Now the convolution output is y of n equals to x of n convolved with h of n. So summation k equals to minus infinite to infinite x of k into h of n minus k. Right. Now in this we have to find out the range of k and the range of n. So first of all, if you want to find out range of k, x of k means the k's range will be same as the range of x, right? So what will be the range of x? From this graph you can see that the range of x will be in between 0 and 1 only. So the range of k will be 0 to 1 only. Now if you want to find out range of n, then the range of n will be found by taking range of n will means y of n, right? So what will be the range of n? Output range. How the output range will be there? From the range of inputs, right? So what will be the lower range? YL equals to XL plus HL, means the lower range of X plus lower range of H. It will gives you the lower range of Y. So what will be the lower range of X? Its lower range is 0 and the lower range of H is also 0. So 0 plus 0 is 0. Similarly, if we will find in the higher range of this, then output's higher range equals to higher range of x plus higher range of h. Now what is the higher range of x? Its range is 1 and the higher range of h will be 2. So 1 plus 2 equals to 3. The range of n will be in between 0 to 3. So for n less than 0 and for n greater than 0, the value of y of n equals to 0. Now we have to take the range of n in between 0 to 3 only. So for n less than 0, the value of h of n minus k will be like this. Now this will be multiplied with x of k, so multiplication of this two will becomes 0 because This one is totally positive and this one is totally negative. So there is no overlapping. So answer of it equals to 0 for n less than 0. Similarly, if we will drawing for n greater than 3, then this will be totally greater than 3 and this will be less than 3. So if we multiply this term x of k with h of n minus k, there is no overlapping. So the value of y of n equals to 0 for n greater than, right? Now we are taking the range of n in between 0 to 3 only. So for that, first of all, we are starting with for n equals to 0. If we are drawing the x of k, then its value will be 0 and 2. For k equals to 0 and 1, right? Now, if we are drawing h of n minus k, here we are taking n equals to 0, means 0 minus k. So what will be the value of h of minus k? H of minus k will be 1 for the range of k in between minus 2 to 0, right? Now if we multiply this two signal, you can see that on k equals to 0 only there will be overlapping. Otherwise its value will be 0 because 0 into any term will be equals to 0. Now on 0, k equals to 0, x of k value equals to 0.5 and on k equals to 0, value of h of minus k equals to 1. So 0.5 into 1 means it will gives you the final answer as 0.5. So if we are taking overlapping, then the overlapping will be only for k equals to 0. So the value of x of k into h of n minus k. In this we have taken n equals to 0, so 0 minus k. And as overlapping for only k equals to 0, so on k equals to 0, value of x equals to 0.5 and value of h will be 1. So 0.5 into 1, so it will gives you the answer as 0.5 for n equals to 0 because we have taken n equals to 0, right? Now next we will taking n equals to 1. So for n equals to 1, the value of x of k will remain as it is. Now here we will taking h of n minus k. Instead of n, we will taking n equals to 1. So the term will be h of 1 minus k. So h of minus k will be shifted toward positive side. So it will gives you the answer in between minus 1 to 0. Now in every shifting operation, we will shifting the signal toward right side by a factor of 1, 1, 1. Okay. Now here if you will see that these two signals will be overlapped for k equals to 0 as well as for k equals to 1. Right. So the overlapping will be in between 0 to 1. So you can see that the overlapping region will be in between 0 to 1. So what will be the value of y of n? Y of n equals to summation k equals to minus infinite to infinite x of k into h of n minus k. Here the value of n equals to 1, so the term will be x of k into h of 1 minus k. Means we have to shift the signal after folding. Now if we multiply these two terms, then you can see that on 0 the value of x will be 0.5 and the value of h will be 1. So 0.5 into 1 plus y will be plus because here we have taken summation, right? So here we are taking plus, x will be considered as 2 and h will be considered as 1 for k equals to 1. So 2 into 1 means 2. So 0.5 into 1 means 0.5 and 2 into 1 means 2. So 0.5 plus 2 is equals to 2.5. This one is for n equals to 1. So we will write it y of 1 is equals to 2.5. Right. Similarly, if we are finding for n equals to 2, then the term will be x of k will remain as it is and h of 2 minus k will shift right side for one more factor. So its range will be in between 0 to 2. Now you can see that the overlapping between 0 to 1. So if we are taking the overlapping, it will be 0 to 1. So the range of k will be 0 to 1, x of k into h of 2 minus k because instead of n we have taken 2. Now if we put in these values like the previous one, so the answer will be y of 2 equals to 2.5. Now we are taking n equals to 3. So for that x of k will remain as it is and h of 3 minus k will shift the signal right side, right? So its value will be 1 for the range of 1 to 3. Now here you can see that the range overlapping will be for k equals to 1 only. So overlapping for k equals to 1, so this summation will be removed. So we are taking x of k into h of n minus k. So for only one value there will be overlapping. So its value will be 2 for x and its value will be 1 for h. So 2 into 1 means it will give you the final answer as 2 For n equals to 3 means y of 3 equals to 2. So combinedly we are writing y of n as y of 0, y of 1, y of 2, y of 3 up to which number will be there. So y of n is equals to 0 0.5, 2.5, 2.5 and the last term is 2. Right? And here on n equals to 0, the value of y of n equals to 0.5. So below 0.5 we will draw the arrow. So this is the final answer of this convolution. Now we are solving the next example as calculate the convolution of x of n is equals to 0.5 and 2 and h of n equals to 1, 1, 1 using tabulation method. The example is same, but we will solving the same example using tabulation method. The answer will remain same. So starting with this, first of all we will drawing the graph of x of k and h of k. So for that, from this you can see what will be the range of it. So this all the things will be remain same. Convolution output y of n equals to this. This one is the equation of convolution. Then we will finding the range of k and range of n, which will be same as the previous one because the example is same, right? But now we have to find the same example using tabulation method. So for tabulation method, on the one side we will drawing the x of n and on the another side we will writing the h of n. So the value of x of n will be 0.5 and 2 and the value of h of n will be 1, 1 and 1. Now we will multiply this one with 0.5 and 2. So the answer will be 1 into 0.5. 0.5, 1 into 2, 2. Similarly, we will finding for the another two ones. So 1 into 0.5, 0.5 and 1 into 2 means 2. Similarly, we will finding for the last one. Now we will drawing this line for these three terms. So in the first line we will drawing the first term. In the second line there will be two terms. Then next two terms and at last there will be last one. Now the first term is representing as y of 0 because the range of n is starting from 0 to 3. So answer will be starting from 0, the next term will be y of 1, the next term will be y of 2 and the last term will be y of 3. Now from this we will writing direct answer of y of n as the sum of all these terms. So in the first there will be only one term, so we will directly writing 0.5. In the second there will be two terms which will be get added. So 0.5 plus 2 means directly we will writing 2.5 and then in the next term also 0.5 and 2. So these two terms will be get added, so its value will be 2.5 and at the last term will be 2, so it will write as it is. Now here you can see that y of 0 means on n equals to 0, the value of y of 0 equals to 0.5, so below that we will draw the arrow. So this way we can solve any example of convolution by using graphical method or by using tabulation method or mathematical expression method or the multiplication method. All the four methods will be different, but the answer will remain same. So in this session, I had explained you by using mathematical equation method and tabulation method. In the first method, we have drawn the mathematical equations, right? Now in the next session, I will explain you using graphical method and using multiplication method. Thank you so much.